things is both of those links that I sent you are both the same files, okay? Just one of them, the one that's really big, that's over 1 gigabyte, is all the files unzipped. So you have all the zip files, and then you have the actual files, like, unzipped. That's why it's so big. The other one that has the van stuff with the 7Z, that was the original file source, just with all the files zipped inside of it. So it was a bunch of zip files in a 7-zip folder. The one that you guys are looking at that's bigger is a bunch of zip file, or is all the zip files extracted. That's why it's that much bigger. But if they have the same documents, they both have that a folder in them called, you know, stuff for Mike. It's just that in the smaller version, the folder hasn't been unzipped yet, so it's just the zip file. I wanted to make sure that people were aware. It's not that people are getting a fake file or anything. It's just the original docs that I saw, and that the person that sent them over to me originally, and also the same person that gave them to Trish, we both know that both of them were 2 different sizes. I think the ones that you guys have, though, the only reason is they're bigger is because they were already opened. And then now when you guys are sharing your link, the link file should be it should be over 1 gig if it's that particular set of the files. But I have both sets, and both sets.
Wait a minute, slow down a second.
Wait. What do you think about we just saw this PowerPoint presentation. Have you heard of this cross-check? Have you heard of this cross-check thing?
Redistricting?
Yeah, they're talking about the redistricting proposal that was in there. That was what I was trying to bring up to you guys last night. That redistricting thing basically goes through all the information that you need to see how and why they were going through, because they were buying this $5,000 program to basically map out all the districts, and then they were utilizing it to redistrict people within their districts. And it explains basically everything that they were doing in that document, and that's the one that's inside of the Stuff for Mike folder.
Stuff for Mike. And so what he was saying is, let's say it's Alex Brown as your voter, is your Bernie voter. If you wanted to suppress them, you would come up with an Al Brown in another district. You'd run the cross-check program, and it would say, you can't be registered in 2 districts, and it would mark Alex Brown, the original Bernie voter, it would mark him invalid. Do I have an adequate understanding of what cross-check?
Yes, he was 100% correct on exactly what that would be allowing for. And this is just the data on how they were actually going through and manipulating it. Now, so that PowerPoint's like something that somebody made to show everybody what's really going on. So that's what we're looking at.
So this was an expose. This was an expose file, this PowerPoint, to show how they were doing using cross-check to suppress the Bernie vote.
No, it's actually, this was how they were teaching their people in the DNC how to do it. Like, this is a file that was made by somebody in the DNC showing them how to utilize the program and basically what they were going to do moving forward from that point in time.
But in order to suppress the Bernie vote, is what you're telling me.
In order to suppress the Bernie vote. You know,
this is a training manual of using a voter checker program to suppress the Bernie vote through a loophole.
Exactly, without actually saying that in the document. You know, they just kind of go through it. But, you know, obviously, it's just a PowerPoint. It's all the talking points in the meetings that they have. Now, I'm pretty sure if we, did some FOIA requests on, you know, what was going on at the DNC at that time, we could probably even get some meeting notes or message notes on what people were actually talking about or what was said during, you know, the meeting that they actually, you know, did this presentation on. Because there's a few of them in there that range from back in 2008 and then go all the way up to 2016. And that, the one that he was telling you about the tech jobs, that one's all the way back from 2009, and I've seen that personally when I was working with those guys back in 2008. You know, that's not a new thing. That's something that they just updated not too long ago. And then when we look at the actual files for the presentation itself that we were looking at with the redistricting, I mean, it says redistricting in the thing, and if you go a little bit deeper in the files, there's actually a video that shows you how the redistricting is going to be going, or how it started from back in 2003 when they started this, and then how much it's expanded since then, basically.
Would you agree with the last caller, Rabbit Mole, that they took the Obama rolls of 2012 and 2008 and lined that up with people who weren't going to vote for Bernie, and then used cross-check to cross those people off the list?
That is 100% correct what we're doing.
Okay.
Because like if you look at the documents, we have all the voter rolls and document rolls from 2008 and 2009, and all the folders outside the stuff for Mike. Like that's what all the old stuff was, and that's the stuff that the Guccifer the Guccifer leak dropped. Although now Guccifer 2.0, like now they have that Guccifer 2.0 leak. We're starting to see that there's more stuff in here, so it's all the same stuff when you at first glance, but there's also extra stuff that kind of like builds upon what we're looking at right now, because now we have all the stuff from 2008, 2009, 2010, and then we have the stuff from the election, I think from 2014 on to 2016. Okay. And with this information, we can see exactly how they were utilizing or how they were going through teaching people how to do this type of redistricting activity, and then they even have like little tiny videos of the growth that they've made so far all over the country, and it starts out like not very much, and then before you know it, and at the end, and I think the video says that it ends in 2016, you can see that they've pretty much redistricted everybody that's a Democrat all over the United States.
Because they have the heat maps. There's the green states, and there's the red maps, and then there's the hot spots where they were more successful or further along. And then is that heat map? Is that what that is?
Yeah, that's one of them, but there's actually a video inside of one of the folders. I'm actually looking for it right now. I think it's actually in the Stuff for Mike folder. I think it's in the DNC folder under redistricting. They have some information on what they were doing back in 2016, so like 2 different legal briefs that they needed, and then there's a video in here somewhere. I'm trying to find it right now. I'm like, I
want to ask your opinion, because there is a theory out there that there's a little bit of a little in-family feud in the Clinton Foundation between what I call the Hills and the Bills. And it's between Brian Pagliano, who's kind of on the Hillary side, who takes over from Justin Cooper. And Justin Cooper was the guy with the Windows server. And then Pagliano brings in the Apple server, the more kind of, panache server. And
the server with the less security, you mean? Yeah.
Well, the other thing about that is, right about that time when they did the Guccifer leak, it could have been that, Chelsea's talking about Justin Cooper and how he has access, and he reads all Bill Clinton's emails, and he has a spyware on his BlackBerry, hacking tools on his BlackBerry. I'm just thinking, I wonder if they do the first hack to embarrass Brian Pagliano, so they'll go back to Justin Cooper as the IT guy, and then Guccifer 2 is almost the hack back. Have you ever thought about?
I kind of thought about it that way, but the thing is like, Guccifer 2 is Warren Flood. There's no question. I mean, there's people that say that it's not him, but unless the hacker had physical access to his machine or somehow remoted it and created the documents on his machine, it was Warren Flood that wrote that stuff, and then just edited the name on the metadata. Like, there's no data that says that it was Russians or hackers anywhere. And then if we look at the different, or if you actually look at if we had access to the logs, I guarantee you wouldn't see any remote access events. Like, Warren Flood did that shit for himself. And then if you look at it, what's he running? He's running a company. It's like Big Blue Data or something. And he got out right before this. So I mean, honestly, all fingers point to that guy being the source of that leak, doing it for somebody in order to, basically do what you were just talking about.
Well, Warren Flood was a technology director for Joe Biden, so it would make sense that he would have his fingers in the pie in Ukraine and Kosovo, since one Biden son has an oil and gas play in one country, and his other son has an oil and gas play in the other. I don't want to bring in motive, though, so I'm going to leave that out.
Yeah.
But I would like to time correlate when the Guccifer hack was. This Jason here was actually hacked he has 2 emails in the Sony hack.
Oh, many more than that. There's a whole entire contract for a 3D camera Sony had me designing for them, and my employment records and social security number from Amazing Spider-Man. There's a lot of shit there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wait, you worked on Amazing Spider-Man?
Yeah, I was the 2nd unit stereographer. Hey, listen, Defango, we're gonna get set up over here and go live on the couch stream pretty soon. So we'll see you on there, right, bro?
All right, Dan.
Thanks again for your help.
A new meme.
No problem.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.